Blessings, peace be with you. All is love. Thank you again for joining me once again. Welcome if you're new. In this channel, it's all about love, peace, positivity, and getting to know your true self. Empowering you, manifesting your true life, and your spiritual connection with Source. And we go over just the practical, simplest way to liberate yourself from all your suffering, from all your traumas, from all your doubts and fears and insecurities and all of this. And we do this in a simple way. We do this by recognizing that everything is just programs. They're just habits. They're all conditionings. They're pretty much just traumas from childhood, growing up in life, growing up with whatever circumstances you were having as you were coming to age. Maybe, you were missing a parent or two, or you weren't so financially stable. Maybe there was a lot of domestic violence, a lot of drugs, a lot of so many situations. Maybe you're from a different country that's underdeveloped and the government doesn't really cater to helping you guys and the society. The list goes on and on and on about what causes us to not be happy, what causes us to not know why we're alive, who we are, and what our purpose is. There's all these layers and layers of life that end up affecting who we are, or who we think we are, at least up until this moment that you're watching this video. We are a collective of emotions, thoughts, habits, like I mentioned, traumas up until this moment. And you are here now with all these layers, all these scars, all these things walking around, and we see the world not for what it is, but we see them interpreted by the personal identity that is been created due to these layers, and then that identity makes up its own interpretation of all its senses around. It makes up its own interpretation of what everything means, what this relationship means, what I'm going to get out of this person or situation or relationship. It's all being based through this conscience, this limited conscience of the personal self that has taken over who you are, our awareness, our consciousness, our spirit, due to its very basic principle, wanting to survive. And it might have been valid up until this point, because we don't know what we don't know. You wouldn't have known that this individual or this perspective or this consciousness was even taking over your being. You might have, most people are not aware that far. They're not aware of the I. They're not aware of the self. They're not aware of the pure consciousness. The awareness that is just aware of everything. Well, let me give you an example. You have a thought. You have an emotion. You have these senses. And then you have a consciousness behind them that is aware of these thoughts. So see how you can easily just give into the like, oh, I have this thought, I have this emotion, I have this senses. I can just like get lost in them and live through that veil, live through that consciousness. But then you realize that there's another deeper layer of consciousness that's more stable, has a deeper foundation, has a more grounded, rooted strength. And that's how we start to peel back and heal the other identity that has been going through all these problems in life. Maybe, who knows, maybe up until this moment. And my goal is to help you liberate yourself from this point on, so that you are free, you are happy, you are empowered, you are fully in realization of yourself, and you are fully in harmony with the universe and God and all the beautiful things that you are here to experience, and that you are actually in allowance, you're in a vibration, you're in a frequency where actually God and the universe can bless you and give you and have you truly be in a blissful, loving, peaceful state. And that's, in a nutshell, I know it's a lot to swallow, a lot to put into perspective, a lot to process all at once. If you're like barely starting to become aware of like this kind of information in your life, because it's like, whoa, 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 I was just, clicking through my phone, or, I was just on my computer, just looking for entertainment or whatever, A lot of people just randomly come up to my videos. That's how YouTube does it. They pretty much just, like, I think it's like 80% of people that watch my videos are just like random people that YouTube suggests it to. So I'm letting you know that there's a way, and it's very simple. In the beginning, it might seem very challenging, very like there's a lot of work, there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, there's a lot of focusing and a lot of pulling your attention into a different direction. But once you begin the process and you build the muscle memory and the fortitude to not give in to just your every thought, your every emotion, your every old habit or every old reactive state of your old ways, you realize that it becomes really simple, and you realize that you can do this. It's actually quite simple because God created this life to be very simple. He didn't create it for us to like have all these problems and all these challenges, and he didn't create all this to test us in a crazy way. In reality, we reincarnated here in this world for ourselves, to test ourselves, and we can go through this duality and come out of it without being tainted by it. So you're like, what they call an angelic starseed light worker, and we all are. There's like we're all part of Source. Just a lot of people forget it. You're all spiritual beings having a human experience. There's no just one chosen group or race or team, or it's like everybody's equal. Everybody's the same. It's just how we allow ourselves to align to that oneness. And some choose to separate themselves completely, and they're the ones that we see as like the bad guys, the evil ones, the devil, the reptilians, the whatever you want to label them, the demons, But at Source, they would not be alive if they weren't connected to Source to begin with, because Source is life. So nothing could exist outside of Source. Nothing could exist outside of their connection to God, no matter how separate and distant they want to, put themselves, how far of a dark energy they want to embody, and how far they want to like play this other ego or this other identity. They're still connected to Source. They're still part of God. And the reason I'm telling you this, because then now you can see the power of God. You can see the power of the universe by simply allowing it to be in you. And you allow it to be in you by, it's already in you. It's not like you're allowing it to come in. You're allowing it to just live through you and not letting your attention be living these other identities and other thoughts and like or, acting only out of like your limited consciousness of like oh, I'm a man, or I'm a woman, or I'm this race, or I'm that race, or I'm this religion, I'm this religion. It's like we through our own self ego and identity, we take away ourselves out of sources in one. So it's about liberating all those identities and habits and conditionings and programs, and then it's about unlearning all of this stuff we've learned all your life. And I want to tell you that consciousness is the biggest resource. It is the thing with the biggest value. Nowadays it's all about like what, being a valued man or being a valued woman, and what's a valued man and what's a valued woman. And, like in the world, it's about like what value do you bring to the relationships of people. Like that's what's going on in the mainstream, and some men only want to be revolve around a certain group because they want to be other valued men and other valued women. And I'm telling you that the biggest value is your spirit, your heart, your consciousness. There's no other bigger value. That is what experiences everything. Gold is not more valuable than your consciousness. Money is not more valuable than your consciousness. All the material wealth and all the material stuff is not more valuable than your consciousness. Your consciousness is where all of those things live in. It takes your consciousness to experience those things. If there's no consciousness, those things don't even exist. So the root foundation of where the biggest value is your consciousness. So if you're someone that's trying to work on yourself and raise your value as a man, raise your consciousness, raise your awareness, come back to your heart and the eye of the eye. Hope this video helps out a lot, and I just want to send nothing but love to all of you. Remember, peace is always here. It is our own self that's never present. So whenever you feel that like you're starting to get agitated or frustrated or stressed, remember, ask yourself, who is the individual in you that's experiencing these stresses? And you will realize that it's like, oh wait, I'm identifying as this ego or this identity, and that identity is getting frustrated. So relax, breathe, become aware of your emotions, become aware of your thoughts, and realize that like you can always return to peace. Love is always here. You can always return to full understanding. Sending out nothing but love. Peace always be with you. Love you guys. Thank you for joining me once again. Peace.